What's up, guys? Have you ever wondered the difference between the Omega and the No Mega? Well, I've got the king of the Omegas here today. This is the vintage brown Crossway ESV Omega, printed and bound by Youngblood. Check it out. Alright guys, welcome back. I want to show you guys really quickly. This is the box it comes in. Crossway's always done really well with their packaging. Their boxes are really protective, really well done. The bottom of the box has the retail of $250, and that's actually great. That's a great price. The new Omegas have the same retail, and they're not nearly as high a quality as this. This legitimately has a value of $250. They're only going to go up from here because these Bibles are going to be more hard to find and less accessible, so the price is naturally going to go up. And anyway, so that value is pretty good. And on the back, it tells you about the 10-point font, the double column paragraph format, and all the cool little features that come with this Bible. Now this Bible is just so nice, smooth. The leather itself is some of my favorite leather. This is the vintage brown goatskin from Youngblood. Very similar to their antique marble brown goatskin used on the Scholar editions. It's really, really nice. Really, really nice. Now here the spine has a really clean look. You have your raised ribs that have so much definition. I love the definition around the ribs. And your stamping is in a beautiful crisp gold. As with all the other heirloom level Bibles from Crossway, you're going to have this perimeter stitching around the edge of the cover. Now if we take a look at the block, we have these 10mm nice double-side satin Beresford ribbons, which that is one major difference between this Bible and the Crossway editions. Like, this is an Evangelical Bible exclusive edition, and they had a few different colors. They had this vintage brown and a blue, and I think they might have had a different color, but these came with added features like the nicer ribbons, upgraded ribbons, and the upgraded head and tail bands. You have the nicer art gilt. This has more of a red art gilt rather than that salmon color, which I think the red is way more attractive than the salmon color for this color scheme. The flexibility of this edition is so nice. In all fairness, all of the 80th anniversary editions, which this one is an 80th anniversary edition, all of those are very flexible. The most flexible Omegas made. Now we lay this Bible down and open it up. It has this beautiful calfskin liner. You have the interior gilt line, your edge line tab, and then we get to the publication page on the back side of the presentation page, and here's your legacy pages. Here we see it is an 80th anniversary edition because it shows it's a 2018 printing, and it is printed and bound in the Netherlands. Now if you're wondering, it just says printed in the Netherlands. That's because usually Crossway only prints where they bind. So there's only a few cases where that's not the case. The ESV Heirloom Study Bible was printed by Lego, bound by Youngblood. There's a few other cases where they're not printed and bound in the same place, but for the most part, if it's printed in China, it's bound in China. If it's printed in the Netherlands, it's bound in the Netherlands. So that's one kind of easier way to figure out where it's made. And if you're watching this video, you've probably already seen about 10 or 15 Omega reviews. So I don't really have to go through all the specifics about this Bible. I will hit the high notes, which are that this Bible is a double column paragraph format. It's a black letter text. You do have references in the bottom right hand corner of the pages. Now this is a 10-point font, and it's on a 28 GSM paper. Now that's going to be a thinner paper than the new Nomega, and you might have a slight bit of ghosting on this 28 GSM paper, but the paper feels like ultra premium. It really feels great in the hand. Now I've loved this layout for years. I've loved the Omega. I've been an ESV priority guy, so I've always used an Omega since they started making them. And I love in the poetry sections of scriptures that it's in a verse by verse format, and your bold verse numbers are going to be the start of new paragraphs, and just your normal stuff you would see in a verse by verse. Now, one thing about this edition that's different from the NCR, the New Classic Reference, or the Classic Reference edition, which you found from R.L. Allen, those are some other premium ESV Bibles. This will not have the book introductions. This will not have some of the synopsis stuff, and the references are in a different format, where that is a center column reference and this has the references off to the side. So it really depends on your preference in reading if you find the center column references more or less distracting, or more or less useful being closer to the verses that they're referenced. So this Omega just feels so much better in the hand, and it's hard to describe the intangibles of the feeling of a nice Bible in your hand when you've held the Nomega, the Chinese printed and bound just mistake from Crossway. I hope they sell for a really affordable price, and a lot of people can have access to them that might not have been able to when they were printed and bound by Youngblood. So there's an upside to having a little lower quality, which I hope leads to lower prices for more people to have nice Bibles. Now, the Nomega is not a train wreck. It's a nice Bible. It's just not as nice as this. But you can definitely tell when you hold this Bible in your hand, when you hold it up and read from it, it feels just top of the line. It feels on the same level, if not in some ways higher, than R.L. Allen and Schuyler ESV Bibles. But it is without a doubt the king of the Omegas. Most definitely is. Now, the end of this edition is the same as all the other Omegas. You have a weights and measures and a concordance, and I love Crossway's concordance. I love it. I think it's the most easy to navigate. You have the words in a bold, all caps font, and then your citations for each word are in a verse-by-verse fashion below. It's in a 3-column format, so it's kind of cramped, but it still feels really easy to navigate. Now, when we get to the end of the concordance, we get to our maps, and these maps are on a glossy cardstock. But then again, this cardstock doesn't seem to be as glossy as previous editions, especially previous editions of the Omega. Now, this is the first Omega I've ever had that was one of the Evangelical Bible exclusive editions, so I'm not sure if this is a common thing. I think my other 80th anniversary edition Omega had a little higher gloss maps, but this is still really usable. The Crossway maps are really nice anyway. I would love to see more color on them, but this is still pretty nice. And after the maps, we have 4 sheets of cardstock, and then we get to the back of the edition where we see the back liner. And on this back liner, please, my friends at Zondervan and Thomas Nelson, take note that you do not see an ISBN here. You see goatskin leather imprinted on the back cover. That looks so much better, so much cleaner, just a much classier look, and it feels more premium rather than an industrial feel. Now, one thing about this edition that I really wish was a little tidier would be these corners for the cover. They're just not quite as neat and tidy as I would like to see. Like from an R.L. Allen, just a really nice pleated corner. You don't get that in this edition, but the feel of this edition and its portability, I can overlook not having pleated corners to save the extra ½ inch and extra weight from choosing this over an NCR bound by Charfleet. So that's it for the review. This vintage brown goatskin is just amazing. If you have an opportunity to get your hands on one of these, you will not be disappointed. Now, I'll put a link in the description below to the 80th anniversary Omega. Now, that link's going to probably take you to the No Mega. But I'll also put another link down there to Evangelical Bible's webpage, and maybe they'll have some of these. But then the last case, I'll have another link down there to an eBay search for this Bible. So you might luck out on one of those three and find a vintage brown Omega. So thank you guys for watching. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, you know what to do. If you like this shirt, this Doulos Jesus Christus, this is from my friends at Missional Wear. I'll leave a link to them in the description below. Hey, also check out my Amazon shop. There you're going to find all my camera gear, journaling supplies and rebinding supplies, and then you can shop different Bibles from different translations. There's a link in the description below to that too. Last but not least, if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing to the channel, and also click the notification bell so you can be notified when I upload new videos. And as always, God bless.